So how can we prevent against some of these problems? From a network point of view, we put firewalls in, we put intrusion detection in, we do vulnerability scans, but guess what? None of us are going to be breached. None of us will be hacked. We're invincible. From an application point of view, it's all very basic stuff. It's best practice. And all eCrime can do is keep advising you, proving the point. And hopefully today we've showed you some stuff. You can be secure, but unless you have some basic practices in place and you accept that unless you solve the eCrime issue, you're going to be vulnerable. Can we go back to the summary now, please? The final couple of slides. It's a blue slide summary. No, sorry. It's a blue slide. If you can go back to, if you can go up. Up, all the way. Keep going, keep going. Yep. What is the solution summary? You don't need to be a techie, okay, to solve all these problems I've showed you. Non-techie basics. How many of you have a security policy? How many of you enforce that policy? How many of you have a policy that's 50, 100 pages long? If it is, bin it. Make it smaller, condense it, use it, maintain it. Give it to people when they start. Make them aware. Give them awareness. Show them some of the websites that I've showed you today. Use it as an awareness. Tell your management. Tell your board of directors. Make them responsible. Understand the risks. It's great having a firewall. It's great having a web server. It's great having AV, antivirus. Unless you maintain it, manage it, update it, apply system patches, it's pointless having. Absolutely pointless. What's the best way to show a return on an investment with a firewall? So you've had to convince your CFO, your finance director, we need a firewall. You implement it. Wouldn't it be great if you could go back to him 3-4 weeks later and say, you know that firewall, look, we've prevented 20,000 attacks because we've been probed 20,000 times. Because all your firewalls tell you this information. There's something called log files. Use them and just, it's evidence. People are attacking you. They're not after you individually, they're just scanning the whole web and just looking for low-hanging fruits. Some technical basics, okay? Firewalls. Use them. They're great, they're fantastic. However, a firewall has a rule base. And a rule base is essentially lots of doors. By default, all those doors can be open, meaning different individuals can come in and out, different traffic. Unless you close a lot of the doors and only have doors for web traffic and email, and maybe another application, open, it's absolutely pointless. Look at the rule base. All you need is web and email. That's it. Close every other single port, and guess what? The firewall will do its job. If you have other ports open, FTP, Telnet, the firewall, from a hacker's point of view, just becomes a speedboat. It just slows a speed bump. It just slows him down. Authentication authorization. Make sure that individuals are accessing the right data. Confidentiality. Okay? You have a share on your network, and you have your accounts details there. Do you let everyone access those details? Because guess what? If you catch an individual and he's got a spreadsheet he shouldn't have, and you try dismissing him, unless you've told him you cannot go into that directory, you don't have access to that information, how can you dismiss him? How can you prosecute him? How can the police back you up unless you're doing some of the very, very basic things? If you don't want someone to access certain information, you put a policy in place and you inform them. And guess what? You put a password, and you control who can have access to what, and when they have access to it, and if you want them to have access to it. Encryption. The number of individuals and businesses that have USB sticks now, it's great. Data leakage. I go into your company, you put some information onto a USB stick, like the credit card database of all the customers who's shopped online. Put it in your pocket, you lose it. Someone finds it, gets in the press, reputation, brand, big impact. Encrypt it. Doesn't cost anything. These devices have encryption included. You just need to click it, enable it. If you're a bigger organization of, say, 15 employees upwards, consider an audit, a high-level audit, just to understand where some of the holes are or the gaps. And backup. Back up your data. But when you back up the data, don't write on the data or the DVD, encryption password XYZ. I've seen it so many times. And test your backup as well. Finally, I hope you've got the message today. Hopefully I've showed you some things you may not have been aware of. I'm not trying to scare you, I'm just trying to make the problem real. But the only way we're going to solve the problem, if you take responsibility and ownership and do some of the very, very basic things we're telling you. E-crime Wales have gone to a huge amount of effort to create the dummy's guide to e-crime. If you implemented 50, 60% of that, you will mitigate your risks to you, your businesses, to you personally, by 100%, if not more. But don't come complaining to us if you haven't done some of these basics, okay?